Welcome back. New overnight, Kuwait suspending commercial flights after an Iranian drone damaged Kuwait's airport, the main airport. CENTCOM confirming that Iran was trying to target U.S. bases in the country. No U.S. forces were harmed, and CENTCOM says it also carried out self-defense strikes on an Iranian ground control station in the Strait of Hormuz. So a flare-up overnight between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump wrote on Truth Social that talks with Iran are ongoing, despite reports that Tehran stopped negotiations over Israel's attacks against Hezbollah in Lebanon. The president told Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu to stop all strikes there in what was reported to be a heated exchange between the two. Joining me now is Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security, Victoria Coates. Victoria, great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, so much to get to tonight. Let me first begin on this leak of the president's phone call with Netanyahu. I mean, some of the things were so specific. You know, I saved you. I mean, like, who would leak such a call?
Well, Maria, wonderful to be with you. I think this happens about once a month, where somebody breathlessly reports a heated phone call between the Prime Minister of Israel and the President. And the fact of the matter is there are other people on those calls. I've been on those calls, and they can get heated. I mean, these are serious people dealing with very high-pressure situations, and they're very comfortable with each other. And if there's a difference of opinion, they'll be very frank. Okay. So this doesn't surprise me at all. But I think it really is a shame that they can't just have a frank, open exchange of views and not have it appear in the New York Times.
So put that overall in terms of your assessment on the war, a flare-up because of what the Iranians did to the Kuwaiti airport. How significant do you see that, and where do you see things going?
No, this is crazy. I mean, Kuwait is, a very peaceful country, a neighbor of Iran's, and, they're shelling them. They're shelling their commercial airport and killing a person, wounding dozens. And it shows how desperate I think Iran is. But the other thing they're doing is really solidifying opinion against them in the Gulf. I mean, they used to use Dubai for a lot of their financial transactions. Qatar was mediating for them, but they're shelling Dubai and Doha as well as Kuwait City. So you really are going to see, I think, a regional cohesion against them. And hopefully that is going to be supportive of the United States and Israel.
Yeah, and you're already seeing that. Mm-hmm. And, you're already seeing the Gulf nations support the United States because of Iran's mistake to attack their own neighbors.
Exactly. And I think this is what's behind the president's call to expand the Abraham Accords from the individual deals we got in the first term to a more comprehensive peace for the region. So if we can bring the Iran conflict to an acceptable resolution, we're looking at a brand new region. A brand new Middle East aligned with the United States and Israel, all sorts of possibilities in the energy field, the tech field. This can be, just a great future for the Middle East, very different from anything we could have conceived of before. That
is an incredible point, and you're right. Meanwhile, we haven't spoken much about Russia. Russia unleashed one of its largest drone attacks yet on Ukraine, or its largest drone attack in months. Officials say 18 people were killed, more than 100 others injured when major Ukrainian cities were hit, including the country's capital. The Kremlin is claiming spending on the Ukraine war is on an unaffordable path, with projected funding gap this year of up to 1.5 million rubles. Victoria, what are we talking about in terms of the money here, and why would Putin be bringing this up?
No, this is something we need to keep a really close eye on. So the Ukrainians have made some interesting gains in recent months with these long-range attack drones that allow them to strike deep into Russian territory that they developed. It's their technology, and this is what they're selling to the Gulf. It's a really incredible thing for Ukraine, and they're exacting a real price from Putin for this war. And so what we need to keep an eye on are the oligarchs who control a lot of Russian industry. If Putin's bad for business, then I don't give him a long trajectory, because for them it's all business.
Yeah.
And if he's starting to really undermine the economy, they're going to put a lot of pressure on him to wind up this war.
I would expect, and I thought that pressure would have been there already, by the way. And then there's Taiwan, Victoria. The main opposition leader is visiting Washington for a 2-week-long tour, pushing messaging right out of Beijing. The Journal is reporting that her message for an American audience is that Taiwan, formerly the Republic of China, not to be confused with the People's Republic of China, operates under a constitution that already supports the principle that the island and the mainland are part of a one single China. Victoria, your thoughts?
Well, Maria, this is the leader of the KMT party. They're the ones who control the parliament. There was recently a fairly disappointing defense budget that they passed. I think the message from the administration, from all of us who really value Taiwan as an ally of the United States, has to be that they need to focus on their own defenses. That the idea that they can somehow, appease China, that is a 20-year-old policy. That is not going to work right now, given the belligerence out of Beijing. But the best way to avoid a war is for Taiwan to be strong, for China to look at Taiwan and say, we just saw what happened to Iran. We're watching Japan rebuild their military. This isn't worth the pain. So I think the message to everyone in Taiwan, regardless of party, is that we need them to get on the same page, and that we as the United States can't want Taiwan to be free more than Taiwan does.
Yeah, that's a great point. More than Taiwan does. Do you expect China to go into Taiwan at some point?
I really hope that they don't. But again, that's where I think the most important thing the president has done this year is request that $1.5 trillion defense budget. Xi is engaged in a historic military backup, but they don't have the capabilities we have, and we've demonstrated them over the course of the last 3 months. Their systems are basically powerless against ours. So that investment by the American people in our defenses is the best way to prevent that war from happening.
Victoria, great to have you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Victoria Coates.